Today is Thursday, August 20th, 2026, and this is the AstroFinance Weekly. Here's the question I think you are actually sitting with this morning before the charts are even open. Is this a week to move, or is the noise around me just noise, and I am supposed to sit still and let it pass through? You have watched the headlines about crypto rules pile up. You have watched rate talk go soft, then hard, then soft again, and none of it has told you what to do with what is actually sitting in your wallet. A lot moved this week, and most of it is not about you, but there is one thing underneath it that touches what you are holding, and I am going to show you what it is and when it starts to matter. Last week, I flagged Venus opposite Saturn building toward exact and told you it would bring a boundary or accountability test rather than a smooth week. That confirmed cleanly. Regulators spent the week drawing hard lines instead of loosening them, the Clarity Act stalling in the Senate while the SEC tried to move alone. What I did not call was how procedural the whole thing would feel. Meetings proposed, then pulled. Clarity promised, then delayed. That is worth naming plainly rather than dressing up. If you want the exact sequence mapped ahead of time instead of read after the fact, that is what the live charts window is built for. Here is the noise, and I want you to hear it as noise before I show you the one thing that is not. The SEC put out a real proposal this week. Token issuance caps, disclosure rules, a safe harbor path away from being classified a security. Then it canceled the meeting where it was supposed to unveil the bigger version of this. Then the Senate advanced something unfinished before recess. None of that is a law yet. None of it changes what you are holding today. What it does change is the shape of the next year. Your coins are being defined by agencies that a future administration can simply rewrite, not by a statute that holds regardless of who is in office. That is not urgent. It is structural. The real thing touching your money this week is quieter. Inflation data cooling for a second straight month, and the market now pricing the Fed to hold rather than hike in September. That eases the pressure that has been sitting on risk assets, yours included. The what is becoming clear. The when is the real question, and that is where the sky comes in. The alignment I am watching for you is Jupiter trine Saturn, exact August 31. This is expansion and discipline meeting each other instead of fighting, and it is rare enough to matter. Jupiter wants to grow, take risk, say yes. Saturn wants proof, structure, patience. When they are working together instead of against each other, the moves that happen tend to hold. Not the fast spike that reverses in 3 days, but the kind of build that is still standing a month later. For a man holding his own capital, this is not a week that rewards chasing headlines. It is a week that rewards positioning quietly for a base that is being laid rather than a spike that is being chased. The days on either side of the 31st carry this, not just the exact date. If you want the day-by-day detail that lives in the daily Astro Notes, Monday, Wednesday, Friday on YouTube. And if you want the timeline mapped to specific events, that is what the timing desk is for. This is exactly the kind of stretch the live charts exists to map ahead of time. The full bundle, SPX, oil, gold, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, BNB, run against every major transit 6 months out, 3 publications a year, sitting around 80% backtested accuracy across years. If you want the exact dates instead of this week's shape, that is where they live, at ecoscopia.net. Here is where it braids together. The Philippine Central Bank reviews policy August 27, right as Mercury reaches Kazimi, That same window and just before the lunar eclipse in Pisces on the 28th, a stretch I am already marking as the most disruptive few days of the month. Sudden information, sharp reversals, not steady movement. That eclipse sits only 3 days before Jupiter trine Saturn goes exact on the 31st. So the order matters. Disruption first, structure after. Watch the days around the 27th and 28th for noise and sharp moves, especially anything sudden in crypto policy or sentiment. Then watch the days framing the 31st for the tone that actually sticks. That is the shape of your next 10 days. Shake first, settle second. So here is the answer. Your patience this week is not you frozen. It is you correctly reading that the ground under this move is still being poured, not yet set. This is not a week for reacting to every regulatory headline or every rate comment. It is a week for sitting still through the disruption around the 27th and 28th and reassessing with a longer horizon once Jupiter and Saturn meet on the 31st. Not adding into noise, not cutting on fear, just holding the line until the structure catches up to the optimism. The weekly is free on Patreon too. Following there costs nothing and it supports the work. And if the markets are not the only thing heavy this week, the quiet fire is the other work. For the weight a man carries quietly, that is there too. If you want the real-time version of this map, the timing desk sends astrology calculated signals for countries, events, and specific market windows, same-day calibration, alongside the live charts 6-month line. The course to draw your own calendar is there too, all linked below. This was the weekly. The daily slices return tomorrow Friday via YouTube. See you then.